All right, welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. We're going to be having ourselves a Terran versus Zerg on the map Year 0. I'm excited to cast this one, as it's, I guess it's kind of important to note for a reason. In this TVZ, we're going to be having Clem and Serral. And for those of you that are under a Starcraft 2 rock, Serral, the God King himself, everyone knows him. I just thought that it was a bit funny, as I don't think I've casted a Serral game in a very, very long time. As or I guess I casted like Sol versus Serral or something like that. Those big games that you guys really liked in the past. And other than that, though, no, I don't think I haven't cast any of his WCS games or anything like that. And so, I've already said his name a bunch, spawning on the top left-hand side of the map, playing for Ents, it's Serral. And in the top right-hand side of the map, guys, I'm going to do it. I'm cutting off the introduction here. We're going to confirm that Clem is on the team. I want to say Infinity Gaming. He is indeed on Infinity Gaming, but I'd never want to like misname the team of players on, so just double-checking there. And yeah, it should be a good game between these two of them, as Serral and Clem, both of them, very, very good players. That goes without saying for Serral, but Clem, he's up and coming, really up and coming lately, as he's had some incredible results, or I guess not even results, just consistency. As opposed, he looks a lot more solid than he did in the past, and that's in a lot of recent tournaments and stuff that he's played. Now, as far as the game goes, that between these two, you may be like, LaughNgamez or Mr. LaughNgamez, why aren't you talking about the game? That's because it's a normal TVZ, my dude. And we're just going to take it from here and see where it goes. As, yeah, just standard Reaper expand, spawning pool on the way. Notable that Clem SCV scouted. But if you've played or watched a pro StarCraft 2 game, chances are you've seen something like this before, as it's a very standard opening. No crazy rushes or anything like that. No crazy greed. SCV for Clem heading towards the third base. This is not even going to really delay the hatchery, because look at this. Serral's just like, yep, I know where your SCV is going. I'm sending a drone to each base. And he just chooses to expand here. Now, before we really get on into this game here, we're going to talk about the comment of the day, which comes from Ralph Paxton. He says, whenever I'm depressed, I watch these two dorks, referring to Falcon Paladin and I. And he says, and things don't seem so bad, which is a fantastic comment. That's just feels good all around. I'm glad you guys really enjoy the content. And no, it's great to get a very heartwarming comment like that. Now, as this game goes on, just snapping back on into it, we've got drones and everything normal on the way. A Hellion opening, pretty common in TVZ. It fell out of the meta a little bit, but like it was quite a while that it was not as common, really, when the 2-on-1 was up and coming. Terrans sometimes skip the Hellions. Now they're pretty much back almost every game, you can say, in the TVZ. Clem cancels the Creep Tumor. Doesn't get a kill on it, because of course it's Serral, and he's always on point with things like that. Maybe he can get this one, and he doesn't, because Serral cancels it. Look at this, he's continuously trying to get these Creep Tumors. He doesn't get that one, has to be very careful with his Reaper. And the only reason I'm talking about how it's notable that he didn't get the Creep Tumor is because I feel like getting a Creep Tumor or not is a big deal versus Serral, because he's someone who's always so on point. So Clem not being able to nab that, if he had nabbed it, it would have been pretty darn notable. Now, yeah, we'll see where this game is heading on, as Hellion is sharking about for Clem. I feel like I totally lost my train of thought and I was about to be on a tangent or something, but that's okay. That's what happens. But, oh yeah, I was talking about the 2-on-1 and whatnot, and how it kind of reduced the amount of Hellions and stuff, but now you can pretty much bank on it every game. Now, these Hellions for Clem, they got to be careful, as they are running around here. And oh man, they do get surrounded a little bit, but then they sneak out of their slippery things. Good grenade placements. Make sure that these units can escape for Clem. That's very important, getting those away from there. Now, let's see, as this game progresses, Cloaking Field on the way, and Armory on the way, so it looks like we're going to be seeing a bit of a Hellbat attack, or a Hellion drop at the very least. Something going to be coming out of Clem. If I had to guess, it's going to be that kind of 1-2 punch coming out of the Terran player. This is a cool build from Clem, because he actually has sent out a Viking to clear the Overlord path. There's a lot of dead space on Year 0 besides Amon there, and that basically means that this is going to possibly catch Serral off guard, which is something that, if you can do that, it's a very, very nice move. Now, the Viking clearing the way for these Hellions has been very important. We'll see if Clem's going to land in that dead space. That is very, very important. These Hellions now moving on in for Clem, driving right onto creep. This should be setting off alarm bells for Serral. Now, this is something that I want to point out. This grinds my gears, guys. The Hellions, they transform immediately. The second they get to the main base. The other Hellions are running in towards the natural. These drones have just ran away and have been packing it off, but these Hellbats are too slow to catch them. So I find it interesting how pro players will pretty much always transform, even if sometimes it is better just to pursue the drones and try and get a good shot or something off. Now, this is being cleaned on up, but there has been some drone damage done by Clem. He's now getting in towards the third base where drones have re-headed into it. And this is actually going to be some very nice damage from the French Terran player. 14 drones have gone down. Now these Hellbats going to transform, make them a lot harder to dislodge. Even though some of them are in the red, a fair few of them in the red, it's just going to be a bit more of a nuisance for Serral to finally clean this up. He's going to try and surround these Hellbats, but might lose a few more lings because of it. Clem trying to get off the best shots he can. In the end, though, very good damage. Managed to pick off 15 drones, and to make things even better for him, he's going to be coming on in with this Cloak Banshee into the main base of Serral. Going to start popping off drones left and right. That is 3 drones going down to 4 drones going down. And Overseer is in position, so even though there was no Spore Crawler, Clem is going to be getting sent away. That Banshee gets killed off. Serral getting a bit of a counterattack going on here. Hellions have retreated for Clem. So far, he hasn't taken too much damage. As a matter of fact, I don't think he lost an SCV. No SCVs have died this game. Now, let's take a look here. Something that we didn't look at is the fact that Clem has this third base up. Now, how late was that third base? I'm not 100% sure. I probably should have looked at that. But I assume it was a bit of a commitment for Clem to go for that attack. Nothing too major, though. Terrans rarely commit to just 2-base aggression like that. Now, Clem, he's transitioning as this game's going on. Magfield Accelerator, Infernal Pre-Igniter, the 2 mech upgrades for this mobile mech style. And this could be a bit of a pain for Serral because he took up a beating to his economy. And the thing that really makes this mech style succeed, I was just watching those Banshees there, is the fact that you need to have a good economy behind it. And Serral, the fact that he's just teching into roaches getting Ling upgrades is an interesting one, because basically he's going to need something that's going to deal with Cyclones, and Roach's not necessarily the best at it. Depending on how well the Terran player utilizes them, I think they're an acceptable answer, Roaches and Ravagers maybe. But Infernal Pre-Igniter and Magfield Accelerator are going to make Clem's unit composition about as good as it can be versus the Lings and Roaches that Serral's going to be producing. Queen's continuously spreading creep for Serral. They do have a fair bit of energy just banking that up. Lots of transfuses and such if needed. And this is where it's going to become a little bit interesting when Clem starts to pressure his opponent. When you start to build up that Cyclone count, get the Infernal Pre-Igniter, things start to look all right for the Terran player before the Zerg really amasses up. Now, in comes this Banshee towards the natural. Oh my god, Serral is a god. We all knew it, but that's just confirmation there as a transfuse goes down and saves that drone. That is just disheartening for this Banshee. She was about to get her first kill, and it's like, no, you're trying to kill one of Serral's drones? That's not flying. Now, Clem, he is finally moving out with these Cyclones and Hellions, being very cautious, it would seem, not to overextend, but now he does have Magfield Accelerator, Blue Flame. Gonna start off by locking onto these rocks. Cyclones chew through these rocks very quickly since they're armored, and they can't run away, so these rocks are in trouble. Now, Serral, he's got some Ling Bane, or mainly Bane, as a matter of fact. Not too many Lings out for him. He's gone up to 82 drones, but he does need to hold off this attack. I'm going to move in for starters, start cleaning up some creep. And has to avoid the Banelings, though. Got to make sure he doesn't take any nasty connections. Look at that. One Hellbat morphing, trying to bait the Banes into it, but Serral manually targeting these. Looks like this Hellbat is going to pick off a few of them. Now, Cyclone's locking onto the Ravagers and Roaches of Serral. Transfuses across the board, though, as these Queens still have a lot of energy. So, good job there by Serral, healing those units up. In come the Cyclones, though. They're going to start locking on the Queens. However, Queens are not armored. They are biological and psionic. But that basically means that Cyclones not actually that good versus them. Hellions not actually that good versus them. And the Queens have a lot of health, so they're actually very tanky versus this. Now, something that's interesting to note for Serral is that he's not just sitting back and taking it. As this game goes on, he's getting up a hive, he's getting up a Nidus network, and he's made some swarm hosts, so he's actually going to begin this mobile harassment style versus his opponent. By the way, look at all these scary banelings wading through these rocks. Clem has to be on point with his unit move outs. Banshee moves on in. She manages to nab up 2 kills, but has to get on out of there. A lot of Cyclones are out for Clem. This is actually just almost an outlandish amount of Cyclones. 15 Cyclones, 14 Hellions. Usually it's more Hellions than Cyclones. But Clem really just going hard on these Cyclones. When the lock-ons go down, it could be very, very good for him. Now, he's going to see this Overseer, so he's going to know that a Nidus is on the way. But look at this. Serral already called in another Nidus, as he's just going to be bouncing all around. And something that's really important to note is the fact that for Serral, or for Clem, pardon me, is that there's not actually a lot to counter these Locusts. There's the Hellions, yes, but Hellions in non-Hellbat mode not going to chew through the Locust too quickly. We're seeing an engagement go down right now. Clem's having to retreat, though. Lost a few SCVs, has to retreat to avoid the Banes, but look at this, so many Cyclones. Not actually the quickest at killing the Banelings. Those Banes, fortunately for Clem, not pursuing any further. However, now comes in a wave of Locusts. Cyclone's going to lock on. They chew through the Locust pretty quickly, but the Locusts chew through them pretty quickly as well. A lot of Cyclones going down there for the free units of Serral. Clem taking a bit of a beating here. Can he really stabilize? Because when swarm hosts start to snowball, there is nothing harder to come back versus, and that's because your opponent doesn't have to keep investing in the swarm host. Banshee goes down, by the way. All they have to do is just continuously keep sending those waves. And now I'm not sure if Clem's doing, or I'm not sure exactly what Clem's doing here to deal with this, as he's making Hellions and Cyclones and a lot of Liberators, but Liberators aren't really known as the best at dealing with Locusts. I guess if you have enough, their splash will kill them, but that means you have to keep them on siege, so I'm not too sure about that. Cyclones are retreating versus these Locusts. Locking on, going to keep retreating. Fortunately for the Cyclones, the Locusts are actually slow, so as long as they can keep avoiding this. But oh man, that third base of Clem, guys, I knew from that SCV counter, we just witnessed 20, or we didn't witness 21 SCVs die. You know, we're going to go back and have a look-see. Okay, it looks like there's a lot of SCVs at this base. As this was going on, I was distracted by these Locusts, but Serral, never just sitting in one place, moves on in for an attack, and Clem was woefully unprepared for this. This is exactly what Serral wanted to happen. I don't usually rewind in situations like this. It wasn't even Banelings that hit the SCVs, it was these Lings. Just hold positioning, slaughtered them all, and Clem's army shows up just a second later, so that hurts. Now, Clem's trying to secure himself a 5th base, but the fact that Serral's just been pulling him all out of position, and look at this wave of Swarm Host, or I don't know what you call a pack of Swarm Host, a group, whatever, just sort of runs out, and Clem's like, oh, maybe I don't have control of this area for this base. He's still got the command center just sitting there waiting, but for now he's just so focused on everything else. It is important to note that Clem is approaching max out, which can really bode well for the Terran versus Swarm Host, as you might be able to muscle your way through them and then push into the Zerg. However, it is mainly just Cyclone supply, and this is something that I haven't ever seen too much of. Maybe it's really good, but honestly, I'm not completely familiar. Now, in comes Serral. He's engaging into some Liberators. Gonna need some nasty, nasty shots there, as I think that was a pretty good trade for Clem, as Serral might have to really start looking at some better anti-air options, maybe a few Corruptors or something. However, Cyclones are good versus Corruptors, so that's where the Liberators get their efficiency from. If you're Clem, you want to pick off this Overseer, just make it a little bit harder for the next Nidus Swarm to come on in. And now we take a look here. Clem gonna have to deal with another Nidus network in the middle of the map. Serral just trying to be all over the place. And if we take a look now, we're seeing that Clem's actually maxed out. So, and we say in Starcraft 2 that anything can happen when both players are maxed out, and that is absolutely true. Now what we're seeing is Serral, he's invested in, I believe, a few Infestors here, just 2. So now he's retreating Cyclones, locking onto these units. Picking off some of this Roach Ravager has actually been some good trades for him. There's not too much Ling Bane there. Now, looks like, I'm not sure, something was trying to pick off this Nidus. Clem is responding though, gonna deal with these Locusts. Gonna lose a few Cyclones or something, but he does chew through those waves pretty quickly. The Cyclone's ability to lock onto Locust is actually very, very good at dealing with them when you retreat, it would seem. Now in comes Serral, once again stepping forward, throws the bows going down, picks off 2 Liberators. Gotta keep getting trades like that, I guess, just make sure that he doesn't overextend into them. Taking a look at this right now, what we see is Cyclones moving to the north. Both these guys just continuing on. Serral really been the aggressor this game, not going for any super high tech. He got the Infestors, but still making a lot of base units with these Banelings and these Ravagers. But look at this, he is going to find a nice engagement here, locks onto some Cyclones, but Banelings actually hit a lot of them first, so the army supply for Clem going to be dropping a little bit. He now is really paying attention to this army, though, going to be retreating. That being said, though, Swarm Hosts pop out, going to be a wave of Locusts going down relatively soon, and I don't know if this Planetary can stand on its own versus this. Taking a look at this, the Cyclone's going to charge down as quick as they can. Looks like they will get to these Locusts in time. Going to lock onto them. Going to pick off a fair few. Planetary going to help clean it out. So he deals with that attack. Nicely done by Clem, getting those Cyclones down there as quick as he can. But look at this, Serral is waiting. He's just stretched Clem out so far. Now Clem has attacked into this army, and it is not going well for him. Clem being pushed back. Serral in the third base. Lings ran through the liberation zones. They're snuck on by. SCVs run into the Liberators to be safe, but right now Clem is being hit all over, and just the way that he's playing this game, I don't know if it's going to get any better for him, because Serral is just chipping him apart. Clem's just surviving, but that's all he's doing. He's surviving, but he's not living, right? Some deep quote or something like that. Sounds like it's from a movie, I don't know. But Liberators getting set on up, Ravagers stepping forward. This could be the end of Clem, as Serral is now dropping down some Corrosive Biles. As, yeah, look at this. Clem, he's just been making Cyclones and Hellions and Liberators. And, guys, this game is showing exactly why you can't make Cyclones, Liberators, and Hellions. Not at least versus Serral, anyway. I mean, maybe you can make it work versus some other Zergs. But versus a Serral, it's not going to happen. And look at this. Serral is just toyed with Clem. He's just taken him down over and over again. And now, let's take a look here. Cyclones coming on in. Just trying to hold on. Clem's keeping his production alive, I guess. He's kept his bases alive. Serral has just been picking him apart, getting small victory after small victory, I guess. Even some large victories in there. In the end, though, yeah. It's just like, he's just dealt blow after blow, and Clem's just nothing. He's just so far down on, I guess, supply. He's at 85 army supply versus 100 and something, but Serral just has so much room to work with this game. And Clem, the thing is, this game hasn't been getting better for him. One Ravager left in the third base, by the way. Like, he's played a very good game, which probably would go well in other situations, but it's just the fact of the matter that Serral just got him against the ropes with the Swarm Host, and he just kept kicking him, and he never let him get on up. Liberators are guarding this third base for Clem, but let's see how many SCVs have died this game. 81 SCVs have died this game. If more SCVs have died for the Terran than they have for the Zerg, it's generally the Terran who's in a lot of trouble. Infestor gets picked off by Clem. He's starting to move out, I guess, just is like, get away from me. I'm gonna attack you, man. As I don't want you attacking me anymore, so I'm gonna switch it around. However, it's still a very dire situation for Clem. He was trying to secure this base, dropped a load of mules, and I mean, Clem still has what could be the makings of a good economy. I mean, he's got a decent number of bases and orbitals. He's just trying to hang on, though. Get some good lock-ons onto this Zerg army. Actually going to annihilate all the Corruptors there. Send back some Roaches and Banelings. So Clem actually on the offensive here, making this work. Okay. I mean, I was talking like he was completely dead, and I still think he's rather dead, as a matter of fact. But maybe getting some, getting his punches in here. Going to be picking off a base of Serral. This seems to be the first offensive action that has been taken by Clem this entire game, and this could actually be a very good position for Clem. Getting down to this location here, Liberators on the high ground, very top, when it's mainly just Ravagers to deal with this. Yes, there's Queens. However, Serral didn't remake the Corruptors because he knows they're not too good versus that air army, so this is actually an interesting situation right now. Keep in mind, back on Clem's side of the map, things are not looking too good for him. He does still have mining bases, though, so he's definitely not out of this just yet. Needs to get back on mining that gas at this location, though. And he has secured this sort of more center base. He's still rather stretched out. However, his supply is climbing again. I was saying that Clem was completely dead, but maybe he can make it happen. Serral has just been going for blow after blow, but he never actually was in a position really to kill Clem. Would just say like Liberators and such. One Cyclone in the main base locking onto this Nidus, so important for Clem not to have to deal with that. Guys, I'm gonna be honest, I thought Clem was pretty toasted here, but it's just not happening. As he's staying alive, singing that song. Command Center not staying alive, though, however. I don't think Ferocibile going to drop all over that. Maybe Clem can save it as the Ravagers are busy or have prior engagements, I guess. Lots of Liberation Zones getting set on up on this army, though. Ravagers probably going to escape. So a pretty good trade there for Seral once again. Clem's supply, though, higher than it was. Nidus is out, though, and oh, this is a big mistake. This lazy Cyclone did not lock on. All the blame in the world falls onto this Cyclone right now for letting those Lings get into the main base. Clem had that on position, but did not deal with it. At least for him, he secured his extra base down here, so his economy is still going. He's got Hellions in the main base, so yes, Serral, he killed, what, a couple of reactors on some starports or something like that. In the end, though, once again, not a kill move. So Serral, in a sense, almost toying with his food. Like, maybe he should have just tried to make a break for the Terran production or something like that. But just playing with Lingbane Ravager, not going for, say, any Vipers or Hydras or anything like that, which can deal with this composition a little bit more directly, I suppose. Still, he's just having the time of his life, just really pulling Clem all over the map. Looks like some Locusts going to come in here to get a very good trade, pick off Cyclones and Hellbats, which are not in a high enough number to deal with this wave. All of those units are going to go down, and suddenly we watch Clem drop in supply once again. Then again, he's winning on a front like this, so 10 SCVs go down. That being said, though, he's still got some more. Gonna lose this Orbital, which is definitely a painful blow for him, as the Mules have definitely helped him out this game. He's still got a fair few, still got a fair bit of energy, though, and he has secured this base in the center. You gotta mine your gas from that, and oh, look at this, though, Serral, a Burrowed Infestor just chilling next to this planetary fortress. Clem's just been harassed at this base so much, like, I mean, the Naturals mined out, the Mains mined out. I'm willing to bet that this fourth base is going to mine out before that. Clem just, okay, yes, he says enough is enough. I'm just leaving this. I'm just taking my house, and I'm going away. And now suddenly, though, that does leave his main base. Probably the main point of attack for Serral, as Serral hasn't been able to break this location in the bottom. But, oh, look at this, Serral. That Infestor spotted that the Terran was out of position, and now Banelings are going to roll on in. Guys, I thought there was a dream for Clem, but that dream just got Serraled, I think, as Banelings rolled on in everywhere. His army and army supply is nothing spectacular, and losing that base really does hurt. 20 SCVs have gone down, 114 in total this game. Clem has just taken a beating, man. Cyclone's getting caught. I mean, he's doing his darndest. Gonna be maybe want to re-siege that Liberator there, just keep retreating with these Cyclones. The Hellions need to really defend these Cyclones, but there's actually not a lot of Hellions left, so Clem now dropping in supply further. GG, well played, gets called. There we go. Serral closes it out. Maybe he could have ended that game a little bit sooner, but he knew that he could just keep pulling Clem apart and get into a better and a better situation. Well played by the Finnish Zerg player. Now, the thing that I thought was, I guess, interesting, was these guys actually played a couple more matches, so maybe we'll take a look at this, as we are, I mean, yeah, let's go for curiosity's sake right now. We're going to cast the remaining games because they played a best of 3. So we will go from there and just cast the next games. Serral versus Clem. I gotta log on in because it's BattleNet. Blizzard, please don't make us keep doing this. I'm sure you could set up like an auto login when leaving from replay or something. It's because you gotta go offline because you download like a new version of an old version of the game to watch an old replay. Something like that, technically. Now, as this game is going on, we're gonna jump on into it. New Repugnancy is the map. And so Clem and Serral, they played another match. So we're gonna make this a best of 3. Serral won the last game, and I don't think this was actually cast at WCS. So yeah, it's a good thing we're casting all of these games. And I know I said, guys, that I try not to cast WCS games as often as I can, or the games that were covered on the mainstream, because it seems kind of redundant. And this is what I was wondering. So we're gonna see Clem. He's gonna be 2-racking Serral. He's like, I lost once. That's my call. I am the Terran. I will cheese them all. I rhymed for you. Man, I'm just enjoying casting this game right now. Serral looks like he's going to be going for a hatchery first. No surprise. Oh, wait. I am a fool. I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. What do I know? Nada. And that is because Serral's going for a pool first. I was about to say hatchery first, and he's like, boom, gas, boom, pool. And by the way, he just spotted Clem's proxy barracks. So, Clem is a dead nerd, guys. Yeah. I was wondering how this best of 3 went, and the response is, it did not go well for Clem. That being said, though, he is hiding in other barracks to the north. He's like, hey, how'd you like this? I pulled a sneaky one on you. As he plops a barracks in the center. And now, we'll see if he can finish these barracks or not. I mean, Serral did pull 3 drones off the line. Now, the concern for Clem is that there's going to be lings done rather quickly. Clem wants to finish this barracks, has to be very careful with this SCV, otherwise he'll have to send another one across the map. But it is important to note that Serral has not spotted this extra barracks in the map, so he might be thinking like, oh, I'm totally cozy versus this rush. Maybe we'll see him start some drones or something like that, as he's yet to make any lings, despite having a pool done. SCV managed to finish that barracks, so objective was complete. And look at this, a very nice spot for Clem to tuck his marine. He's got this extra barracks done. Is he going to start making a marine out of it? Yes, he is. There he goes. That's very important, and he even brought more SCVs. So I said Clem is a dead nerd, and I mean, Serral scouted this, which 9 games out of 10 means a dead nerd. But look at this. Serral cut lings. He's only just getting out his first couple of lings now. He was a little bit greedy, and now there's out a fair few marines for Serral, or for Clem. He's getting up bunkers at the natural, and I'm not sure if Serral's going to be able to save this. It's going to cost him at least a little bit. Can Clem throw up another barracks? If he can, this is a very nice wall-off. He doesn't get that up. Instead, he's just going to retreat. Drones and lings are pursuing, but there's like 5-6 marines. That's some serious firepower. Good micro back from Clem, and he's actually going to be able to get one of these bunkers up from the seam of it. Marines can't really contend with a queen without taking casualties, so he's still got to be careful there, but he's getting up 1 bunker. He's starting up a 3rd. His 2nd is about to finish. And Serral, I think he might have just bamboozled himself. Clem, with the 3rd barracks, caught Serral by just, like, hiding it. Serral didn't see it, and then he's like, okay, Clem's not going to really make anything happen with this. I scouted it. MPG, I went pool first. But he started no spine. He started lings late, and that just goes to show that even a god can make mistakes. And now we're 1-1 in the series, so I don't actually, well, yeah, I don't know what happens this. So we're going to get on into the next game and see how that's going to look. That is a big question. Automaton is the map we are going to load on in. Okie dokie. All right, Clem versus Serral. It's going to be yet another match. Clem not proxying so far. And we'll see if he does it again. But I didn't really introduce the players in the last game, I don't think, because it started off with that kind of ridiculous proxy victory for Clem. That was a short one. We'll see if this one's going to be. Serral and Clem, it is a best of 3. It's now tied 1-1. I guess I pulled a sneaky one on you. I pulled a sneaky one on myself, guys. As I didn't expect this to be a full best of 3. I was just like, I'll just cast the 1 game, you know, see how it goes. And then I was like, I gotta cast the other ones. I gotta see what happens in this series. That first game, very good. The second one, pretty standard. That's why I make sure that I cast replays that are longer files to make sure that I'm like, all right, let's cast an awesome game, and then it's like a 2 racks or something. So that's how I pick the good games that I don't know the results of. Now, Serral, he's got his Overlord, doing a bit of a drive-by, making sure there's no barracks. I mean, Clem is a ballsy player. I wouldn't put it past him to proxy you twice in a row, and Serral's like, I will take that bet. So he's sending his Overlords all around, being very safe. And we'll see where this game's going to go from here. Clem and Serral on Automaton. By the way, guys, I totally forgot to say, that's what I forgot. Okay, at the start of the video, I had like a derp. Maybe like a few minutes in, I had a derp in which I totally thought of something to say, and I just remembered, you gotta press that like button That's it. Let's try and break 20 likes on this video. I know I never say it in like the VODs that I upload from A Freaker World and stuff, but if you guys feel ever tune into those, make sure to hit the like button on them. But yeah, for these 1v1 replay casts, you guys seem to really like them. Can we get 20 likes for Seral? Can we get 20 likes for Clem's ballsy 3 racks, not a 2 racks that he went for that game? And can we get maybe even 25 likes for the fact that we're just casting all of this best of 3? I'm not 100% sure if this was cast on the WCS stream. I quickly skimmed through the VOD to check, but I didn't see it. Maybe I missed something or whatever. But no, as this game is going to be going on, Command Center on the way for Clem. Standard opening. He's got his Reaper back at home, so he didn't SCV scout this game. And keep in mind, that last game started with Serral. He's like, I'm going to pull a sneaky one on Clem, but Clem out-sneakied him. That was a multi-layer stack of sneakiness. No sneakiness this game, though. Both these guys are like, all right, let's play it straight up. Serral won that other game, which I think was just proof why that other game, I feel, was just proof why you don't make Cyclones versus someone as good as Serral. I feel like if you're a good Terran player, you can make it work versus a Zerg who's maybe on your level, or maybe a little bit below your level, and that maybe it's a valid strategy. But I feel like meching, I feel like it's still not tested versus the best of the best Zergs. Maybe that's just me, that I don't have enough time these days to watch all the pro games, but you never see a thread on Reddit that's like, oh my god, the madman. Someone beat Serral with this outlandish new strategy. Nope, yeah, it just doesn't happen. If you beat Serral, it's something like him messing up a 2 racks or whatever. Very rarely do we see, like, yeah, even just good Zergs in general. Like, I feel like the mech style is good, but exactly what happens in that game versus Serral happens, in which you just get, like, pulled apart, and you just don't trade efficiently enough, and you never consolidate. Traditional mech styles have had at least the thing going for them, in which if you eventually hit that 200 supply, you're going to be golden. You have a chance to win the game no matter what, because you're so darn efficient and whatnot. However, when you're just making Cyclones, it's like, what do you do when you hit 200 supply of Cyclones? You have a bunch of Cyclones. That's it. And Clem wasn't going for a ton of other run-bys. I know he was trying to make Liberators, but he was maxed in that game, and it just fell apart. So we'll see if he can do any better this game. A Ling runs in for Serral. It's basically just going to be like, hey, this place is empty, so things are coming my way. Hellions poking in towards the just front of Serral, I guess. There was that Medivac. Where's that? That's going to be unloading here. So yeah, it's one of these cool Hellbat attacks coming from Clem. Hellbat supported by the Medivac is always great to see. One Queen gets bopped forward by that Reaper grenade. In comes these Hellbats. They're going to be charging on in. That being said, though, there's a massive counterattack from Serral, or not even massive, just very significant counterattack getting on in there. Clem, he's got a lot of Hellbats on the front line. The Medivac doing his best to heal these up. However, Serral not missing a beat. Probably wants to target that down. There he goes. And now there is a lot of Lings out. More Hellbats have come forward, which is a lot of firepower here for the Terran player. However, these Queens, just so well controlled by Serral, are just going to start chipping away in these Hellbats to a very significant degree. And as a result, Clem taking a lot of SCV damage on his side of the map, and the wind was really taken away from this push. So while it looked like he might have been able to break his opponent, he didn't get a lot done. That being said, though, a nice move. This Liberator gets on in here. It's going to start picking off workers. Picks off some larvae. There wasn't a Queen in the main base because she was on the front lines. Now, looking at this, though, Clem has yet to get up his wall. He never started a 3rd command center because he's lost workers and has been trying to replace them. And so this is where it becomes concerning, because this is a lot of Lings across the map right now. Is Clem in position to deal with this? Hellion's going to run away. There are Hellbats in position, though, so he does survive. He does send Serral packing. Looks like a few more drones have gone down, maybe to that Liberator or something. So let's take a look. Stimpack getting up. Hellions just hanging out. Clem realizing that he placed that supply depot off. Fixes that. Looks like another Liberator moving out for Clem. Liberator harassment, pretty much good at any point in the game, but Serral, he did hold that attack. And something to point out is the fact that the 3rd command center for Clem is so delayed. So he's going to be putting the aggression on his opponent. He's going up to, yeah, He's going up to, wait, yeah, he's going up to 5 barracks on 2 bases, so Clem going to be going for an aggressive play versus his opponent, but he's going to be real pressured to make something happen this game. Hellion's going to be moving on in for Clem. He's got to be very careful not to have these caught, because I think they're going to be critical to the push that he's going for, as we're seeing him just make Marines. So he's going to need Hellbats to help deal with, say, Banelings to absorb those Banelings, and he's going to need godlike splits. Because, yeah, look at this Clem. He's freestyling here. This game, what we're seeing right now is he basically had that counterattack, which really did him in, and now he's like, whatever, I'll make some Marines, I'll make some Medivacs, I've got all these Hellions, I'm going to go for it. And I actually don't hate this. Look at this. He's got a good amount of supply. Serral, he doesn't have Baneling speed just yet, and Clem is an incredibly quick player. So look at this. 2 Medivacs full of Marines going to be moving across the map, and they're going to have all these Hellbats, or Hellions, which should be turning into Hellbats to help out. Maybe he'll just poke with them in traditional form, in their Hellion form. But I think this could be a very good push. Serral gets momentarily supply block there. Nothing too significant, though. But, yeah, let's take a look. In comes Clem. He's going to need to make something happen right now. He's up on supply. He's going to need god-tier micro. He's going to need to scan right away. The one thing that's really concerning is how many Banelings there is. Always concerning for Terran, how many Banelings there are. Is there enough just to trade out and destroy this army? More are finishing for Seral. We are going to need a very good engagement for Clem. He needs to push on in here, but there is so many Banelings for Seral, who's actually holding off. If he can hold off like another 10 seconds, he gets centrifugal hooks, which will really help him out. Then he's going to have 1-1, and that's where it becomes very, very tough. Because those Banelings, they'll get on top of you quicker. Clem's not going to have as much time to split. He knows he needs to push on in. He's retreating. Serral's going for this round. Banelings are crashing forward. Clem's trying to retreat. However, his Marines are clumping up. While he did a good job retreating and splitting, it wasn't good enough. Serral takes the 2-1. GG gets called. And unsurprisingly, Serral wins. But it was great casting him again. Great seeing how he's such a good player at such a close look. And once again, if you guys enjoyed this cast and watched all 3 of the games, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, as I'm putting out casts like this pretty darn regularly. It's not every day, but it's just about as close as you can get. And yeah, so make sure to do that, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.